So Brock Lesnar has channeled his inner Mark Henry in the salmon suit, if you know, you know, his inner Terry Funk, God rest Funker's soul, and ended his retirement after just 29 days. Lesnar appeared on Raw last night where he attacked Obafemi, reigniting that feud. The two will now face off at the Clash in Italy. Or did Lesnar end his retirement? Was there ever a retirement to begin with? Let's talk about it. Now, first things first, I realized I never gave my official thoughts on here about WrestleMania Night 2. I did do a video discussing Night 1, never followed up. Not that Night 2 was a bad show by any stretch of the imagination, far from it. I'd say it blew Night 1 out of the water, but that's not exactly a high bar to reach. So instead, I will say it was a very good show. Had a main event that was exceptional. Okay. Funny how that works when you don't have outside forces, i.e. Ari Emanuel, TKO, people that don't know a damn thing about pro wrestling, sticking their fingers into what should be an easy-to-cook recipe and turning it into a over-diluted clusterfuck of a mess. Reigns and Punk are two kings of their craft. They were left the hell alone to do their own damn work, and they put on magic. Again, funny how that works out. But the big story coming out of Vegas and Night 2 was the Femi Lesnar match and Lesnar's subsequent retirement. Now, one complaint I had about WrestleMania both nights was the matches were too damn short. They didn't allow these people to go out there and cook. They didn't allow them to go out there, by and large, and do what they do best, and that is put on a show. A couple of matches did. Obviously, the two main events went longer than that, and I think the ladder match went 15 minutes, which for a ladder match is woefully short, but at least it went over the 10-minute mark. But Lesnar-Femi, though, was a match that did not need to go 10-plus minutes. In fact, they had the perfect time for it. Anything 6 minutes or less for these two is all that was needed to tell that tale. It was a clash of the titans. The irresistible force meets the immovable object, in the words of the late, great Gorilla Monsoon. And it told the perfect tale. And we saw Femi get elevated to next level status. Lesnar basically did unto Femi what The Undertaker did to Lesnar. Gave him the baton and told him run with it. Handed him the torch. Or so we thought. And then afterwards, Lesnar showed real emotion, something he doesn't show. Okay, we've never shown Lesnar have that emotional side to him. So when he was taking off the gloves and taking off the boots and, looked like he was legitimately crying. If this was an elaborate story, then guess what? You all did a hell of a good job. But I don't think it was. In fact, I'll tell you exactly what I think happened. And you could put two and two together to make four to add this up. I may just be doing an educated guess here, but I think there's some real water behind this. As you all know by now, since WrestleMania, TKO has been on a budget-cutting spree. Saw a lot of people get given their walking papers, including one who was in a very prominent storyline in Kairi Sane. They also asked New Day to take a pay cut. New Day told them, kiss my ass, give us our release, which they were granted. Pay attention to what I just said there, because I think it does apply here. Follow my train of thought. I have very little doubt in my mind that Brock Lesnar, who is one of the higher paid talents in WWE, was likely asked to also take a pay cut. Okay? Lesnar is all about that bottom dollar. Okay? Lesnar's primary motivation for being in this business is to make money. And you know what? I don't blame the guy for it. This business will chew you up and spit you out, and you become as quickly forgotten as you were remembered. So while you're here, make as much coin as you possibly can, and Lesnar draws asses to seats. So I think they went to Lesnar. They told him, take a pay cut, and you've got a better chance of winning the jackpot on a scratch-off lottery ticket than you do of Lesnar ever selling himself short financially. So Lesnar, what I think we saw at WrestleMania, was real. I don't think it has anything to do with him not wanting to put over Gunther or any stupid bullshit like that that's being spouted. I think this was all about money. However, in typical current WWE fashion, this company knows how to give us moments, but they don't know how to follow through with them. It's almost like, here's the pot. Now let's let the recipe cook itself. Ain't new. Mentioned a New Day before. They turned them heel. All right. Where did that go? Nowhere. Led to where we're at now with New Day no longer being in the company. Need I say any more about the John Cena heel turn? Arguably the second greatest turn in the history of this business, only behind Hulk Hogan and turning to form the NWO with Nash and Hall. But beyond that, it was a giant turd in a punch bowl because there was no, okay, now what? We're seeing the same thing with Oba Femi. Femi goes in there, has a knockdown drag out with Brock, basically beats him in a glorified squash. Something we've never seen happen to Brock Lesnar before. So we thought Femi was a made man. But after that, though, after we got that moment, it was almost like the creative behind the scenes twiddled their thumbs. Oh, which way did he go, George? Which way did he go? What do we do now? So instead of elevating him to that even higher level to main event status, hell, I'd even settled for putting the Intercontinental title on the guy, elevate that belt. We decided to do an open challenge where he spent the last 20 plus days basically beating the guys who are, at this point in their career, strictly there to put others over and elevate them. Right? You're talking beating Akira Tozawa, beating Otis, right? He beat Alpha Academy, fantastic, right? Beat Umberto and Garza, or beat Grayson Waller. This is shit he did at the beginning of his main roster run to put him to that level where he was ready for that match and mini feud with Lesnar. Yet they've sent him back to that point. I mean, the only thing that would have been worse than what they've done with him is sending him back to fucking NXT. Right? This formula does work, where you have these newcomers, or newcomers in this case to the main roster, go on a wrecking spree of local talents and the preliminary guys, for lack of a better term. But that only has a short shelf life. Then you have to pull the trigger and do more. It's what failed Ryback. Once upon a time, believe it or not, Ryback was over like gangbusters. Ryback was one of the hottest acts in the business. But after they had him squashing sometimes 2 or 3 people at a time, they put him in there with CM Punk. He lost, and it was all downhill from there. To a lesser degree, they did the same with Braun Strowman. Strowman had a better WWE run than the big guy did, but he never fully got pushed to his max potential because after that initial burst out the gate, it was almost like, where do we go now? They're doing it with Femi. And, of course, it went over like a fart in church, like a turd in a punch bowl. So now they realize, look, this is going nowhere. Nobody wants to see Oba Femi squashing guys that we know he's going to destroy. Right? Worked at the beginning. Doesn't work now. After he beat Brock Lesnar, going back to doing that, right, is stupid. It's pointless. And people don't want pointless bullshit. So, that and the fact that their ratings are sinking like a damn stone and they're not selling tickets, time to go back to the tried and true. So they probably got on the phone with Lesnar and said, hey, Brock, we need you back. Brock said, I ain't taking a pay cut, so you can either start talking my language or you can kiss my ass. And I would have no doubt in my mind they gave Brock Lesnar a pay raise to come back and do this, whether this leads to him ultimately putting Femi over at WrestleMania next year again, or putting him over at SummerSlam. We'll find out here soon. Yes, he's going to beat Oba in Italy. Guess what, guys? It ain't the end of the fucking world. Okay, this isn't Ryback losing to CM Punk and then getting shoved down the cards. End game is going to be him beating Lesnar again and once more establishing himself and basically kicking the can down the road of what to do for him next. So that's where we're at. That's my thought process. This was never a retirement, okay? This was never long-term. It was them overshooting their hand with somebody who, is all about the money, saying, hey, take a pay cut, and him telling him to eat my ass. And now he's back because he got what he wanted, money and more some, to once again bail the WWE out of a shitstorm. Man, funny how that works, right? Anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think that this is a money thing? Or do you really buy that this retirement was all part of an elaborate work? I don't, because I'll tell you right now, that's never been Lesnar's game. But you be the judge. Thanks for tuning in.